Hello, everyone. Very excited for this event and for this webinar. I know folks are in listen only mode right now, so you all can hear the webinar. I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Chris Rule. I am the Vice President of Customer Experience here at Turno. And I wanted to introduce you to our brand new series, Behind the Shine, which is a series of online workshops from Turno that we are going to be presenting on a pretty regular cadence every 4 to 6 weeks throughout 2026. This is a piece of feedback that we have heard from all sorts of cleaners throughout our conversations with folks, that they're very interested in learning more about how to do quality cleans, how to learn about things like insurance, how to get more customers on the Turno marketplace, and utilize the product in a better way to make sure that hosts are enjoying what they're doing within their properties. Our goal here at Turno with this particular webinar is to ensure that we are helping the cleaners and help every single cleaner provide that service level for hosts and property owners to get those 5-star reviews. If you're not familiar, 5-star reviews within these booking platforms can lead to massive increases in revenue and bookings. The higher level cleans that we can provide and the education that we can provide to you all is incredibly important to us. You will continue to see more and more of these pop up as we add more folks to the list of guest speakers. But today I am incredibly excited to introduce our very first guest speaker. He is well known throughout the short-term rental industry and really just in cleaning in general. He travels the entire United States giving instruction and trainings to cleaning teams. He owns an entire business that it revolves around chemicals, and this is truly his passion. I met him at a couple of conferences, and it's incredible to hear his experience and his passion and what he's able to provide to cleaners. I think you all are in for an incredible 45 minutes to an hour here with Sean Kemper. And if you have any questions as Sean is presenting, please feel free to type them in. I will be able to see them, and I will be bringing them up with Sean as he goes through his presentation. So if you do have anything, by all means, type it into the question box. Otherwise, I'm going to let Sean take it away and do his presentation on the art of clean.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that warm welcome. Hey, gang, glad you joined us this morning. Again, my name is Sean Kemper. I'm with ETI Solutions. I designed ETI to mean educate, train, and innovate. As Chris mentioned, I started out 20 plus years ago as a chemical manufacturer. We make our own cleaning compounds. We make safer, better chemistry. It's dialed into your industry. Commercial cleaners, short-term vacation rental. We make the best chemistry for you to get in and out, be productive, and be very profitable. The whole presentation with this art of clean and mastering our chemistry, revolutionize operations and slay that grind. I want you to be confident and educated when you're out there cleaning. I know it's tough sometimes in these segments where you don't have a lot of training people that are out there educating you on this. So I'm glad that we teamed up with Turno to dial in with this, because you're going to understand the things we go over with pH and soils and all these different properties that help you become a stronger cleaner. Chris, we can go to the next slide, please. Now, just to go in a little bit nerdy with our chemistry and what's going on here. There's various ingredients. If you look on the side of your bottles, the products you're using, you'll see surfactants and emulsifiers, your acids and alkalines and things like these products all are formed together to give you that awesome cleaning product that you use out there. Surfactants, obviously, they break the surface tension of your greases and soils and help lift them to the surface. Your emulsifier puts everything together in that chemistry so it's nice and clear and pretty. Basically, that's all that does. It's like when you're at home and you're cooking and you're making ingredients, you know, you're going to use some eggs or some salt, pepper, whatever your seasonings, you're putting all that together to create something. And that's what we do here with chemistry. Now we're going to dive into some more of this science behind what we're doing to make these products work so much better for you. But we can head to the next slide, Chris. All right, these 5 key factors of cleaning, we need to understand these, because so much in the society nowadays where the instant gratification, we spray something and we wipe it off immediately. You always need a little bit of dwell time on there. So if you have the product, squirt, apply the product, let it sit a little bit. Temperature isn't as critical anymore. The chemistry is getting better. But if you're cleaning some grills or some greasy areas, sometimes the warmer water will help the chemical activate quicker. The mechanical action, simply what it is. It's your microfiber cloth, your scrub brush, your tool, whatever the heck you're agitating with, that's your mechanical. Chemical reaction, very simple. That's our chemistry we're using. So making sure you understand the right product for the soils will help you be more productive and have quicker turns. And then if we put all these together, that's going to be our procedures. We're going to be able to get in there to get the job done and they head on to the next location. One thing I like to mention about the time, though, is if you're using your disinfectants out there, you need to pay attention to the times because it is critical through the EPA that your dwell time is maybe it's a minute, maybe it's 2 minutes. Some disinfectants are even 10 minutes out there. So when you're looking at your product, make sure it dwells, it sits on that surface that long because that will kill 100% of your bacteria and germs. That is critical. And we are crunched for time. So there's products out there, maybe some peroxide-based products that have a shorter dwell time. So those are good. If you can get down a couple minutes, that'll give you time to spray a bathroom, maybe go strip a bed and come back. So those are critical. Just be focused on that when you're cleaning. Okay, Chris? I'm not gonna go into all this. If you guys want to email me, I can send you some list of the show and tell some of the supplies that we use in this business. Vacuum cleaners are they're pretty much a disposable product nowadays if you're in beach markets because of the sand and stuff that we're sucking up in there. But there's tools out there that can help you clean better, faster. There's some rubber gripping brooms. There's some neat things that I dial into and sell to help make your life a little bit easier. We can go to the next slide, Chris. All right, this is critical. Commercial grade products, you will see a huge difference. Commercial grade products, if you're going to maybe a local janitorial supply house, somebody like myself that we manufacture these commercial grade products, a lot of times if you go buy retail products, they're going to be watered down. And that's just because they've got to be safer for the public, safer for the masses out there because kids can come into contact with them, pets can come into contact with them. So typically, if you think about it, when you're going to the dollar store or wherever you might go, these retail products, you're going to have to typically use twice as much and you're going to have to scrub harder. So getting a good commercial grade products will make your life easier. As you can see here, these products are your workhorses. They are built in these tough situations. The retail products are for home use. You got 3, 4, 5 people maybe living in a house. Some of these vacation rental short-term properties, you got 10 to 15 people in these things, if not more. Your soil loads are going to be really tough. And these are also concentrated for best economy for you. And then you got support. You got manufacturer reps. You got somebody like myself that you could text or email and ask a question to make sure you're in the right path. And janitorial supply houses do that. You won't get that support from Amazon or Home Depot or anybody like that. So we can go to the next slide, Chris. All right. A lot of times we don't have to dilute products anymore, but if you are having to dilute, I always like to educate on this. We do have our dispensing systems. We've got various ways to do that. And I'm going to show one of our products later, how we have a drop and go that we designed a cartridge to fit inside the bottle. But when we deal with your dilution, there's 128 ounces in a gallon. And if you're looking on your bottle and you see a 10 to 1, a 20 to 1, or whatever, what you do is you take that number, say for 64 to 1 up there, you take 64 and divide that by 128, which is how many ounces is in that gallon. And that's going to give you a chemical use of 2 ounces of the chemistry and the rest water. So 10 to 1 is 11.5 ounces of chemical to the rest water. And with 4 to 1, same thing. 32 ounces would be the chemical and the rest would be water. So these things are very critical when you're diluting because if you dilute too much, you're going to get a chemical residue. If you don't dilute enough, then you're going to have a weaker product and you have to scrub more. So you really need to dial in on that chemistry if you're diluting those. Okay. The critical thing with the chemistry and pH is that the pH levels affect your cleaning results. This is huge. You got your pH range from 0 to 14, basically. But I know everybody in this industry loves to use vinegar, and you got to be careful with vinegar because the pH is 2. And after time, using it on marble or some of the more sensitive natural stones we have in some of the properties, you can actually damage that surface. It might even take some of the finish, the sealer type products off because the pH is very acidic. So understand that pH scale is really critical. The overuse of chemicals, as we discussed in the last slide, is you can damage surfaces by having way too much product on there. You're going to get a residue buildup, something that would just continue to break down the surface over time. Might not see it instantly, but over months, years of use, there's going to be a lot of damage to the surfaces. So on that pH scale, like I said, vinegar, lemon juice, those are all 2. As you work your way up, even coffee is a pH of 4. Coffee is a little bit acidic. And then you work your way up to our blood, which our blood should be neutral. We don't want it to be toxic in any way. And then continue your bleach. Your bleach is way up there too. It's a 10, 11 pH. And then typically the most harsh product would be like a Drano or a drain opener. It's really very high caustic. So that would be very detrimental to the surface and things we're cleaning. So understand your pH. And one story I always tell is somebody's trying to get out of a property, they see a spot on a countertop or something, a natural stone countertop, granite, marble, trap, whatever it might be, and they have that bathroom cleaner in their hand and they go to squirt the bathroom cleaner on that surface. Typically bathroom cleaners are acids, and that acid is going to etch the surface and you're going to have a dull finish. And when that happens, then you got to do a lot of honing and polishing and repair that marble, which could be several thousands of dollars. So understanding the chemistry makes you a more confident cleaner, which is what I'm glad to do today. All right, Chris, we can go to that next slide. I'm not going to dive a lot into this, but as I do my training and consulting, I have tests and things out there. So your employees, your team, you understand the pH scale and why we use an alkaline versus an acid and the neutral cleaners. So understanding your soil loads, those greasy things that we deal with in the kitchens, that's typically your alkaline-based product. A degreaser type product. When you're dealing with bathrooms, soap, scum, lime scale, rust, things like that, that's where that acid's going to come into play and you're going to need it. And I know a lot of people say they don't like the smell of an acid, but most of the phosphoric type acid is a stinky acid, but it's just the qualities that it is. And that smell will go away. So if it's kind of offensive, but the phosphoric is a safer acid compared to the hydrofluoric or muriatic acids. Don't let the smell deter you because you do need that acid to clean that shower glass door. Okay, we can move on. What we do at our manufacturing company is we make safer products. This is probably one of the most trusted mold product in the industry. This doesn't just go into vacation rentals. We sell this to restoration professionals. I'm in South Alabama and we obviously get hurricanes. And so the restoration professionals can come in with this product and clean. It'll go into the root and get rid of the mold and mildew. Same with your showers, it's safe on carpet. It's not going to hurt any of these surfaces like bleach will. I know bleach is cheap, but the funny thing is our Spargo product dilutes at a 4-to-1 ratio. So as we saw on the chart up above, that would be how many ounces per gallon? The 4-to-1 ratio is 32 ounces per gallon. And this makes this product, our Spargo, almost cheaper than bleach. You're not messing up surfaces. You're not messing up your clothing. You're not damaging upholstery and fabric. It's a great product to help eliminate a lot of these issues that we see out there. And typically in your properties, you're not dealing with mold, and it's going to be a mildew unless there's some major water damage. And so I think on the next slide, we might go into some of the mildew issues and what's what. Maybe I left that one off, but we can, if you can go back real quick. Yeah. So when you see and you walk into a shower and you see a little bit of the pink growth in the corner, that is actually a bacteria. It's not a mildew. It is caused from soap, scum, and body oils and things like that. People think that's mold or mildew growing, but it's really just a bacteria. And the reason why that's there is because it wasn't cleaned properly. So if you missed a spot or something like that, you need to go back over it. But another indicator with our Spargo is that it foams up on the mold. So if there's mildew, any organic, it will actually foam up on that to give you an indication of, hey, we've got a buildup here. So we need to spray it, agitate it, and then you can rinse it off. Another nice thing about the Spargo is essential oils. It's safe. It's got some peroxide technology in there. So basically spray that on, let it do its thing for a couple minutes, agitate it off. And if you want, you can actually spray it again and leave it, and it'll just keep penetrating into the grout and the pores to get rid of all that mildew growth.
Sean, I got a quick question from somebody. They asked, does this product Spargo kill or clean algae? And if not, what do you recommend?
It will. The essential oil that's in there is a natural antimicrobial, so it will remove every single strand of mold and mildew out there. And algae being in that family, it would definitely get it for sure. Good question.
Okay. Yeah, and just a reminder, if you have any more questions, by all means, type them as we're going and we'll ask during the presentation. So
yeah, please
feel free to make it interactive. Yeah, Sean's great at answering questions, so by all, send them on our way.
All right, this is my favorite slide coming up. All right, I know you all heard that term, the Blackfoot. I know that foot there is a little extreme and gnarly, but it is a thing. And I hear it across the country. How do we get rid of Blackfoot? What's going on with Blackfoot? Why is this there? I just mop my floor. I use a steam mop. I do this. I use vinegar. You know, what the heck's going on? And so we're going to dive in to what's going on to help you eliminate Blackfoot. Okay. So basically, obviously, we've got so many different types of flooring. I know the luxury vinyl plank is very popular now. So we got to understand the types of flooring we're cleaning. Obviously, a lot of it's just ceramic tile, something that's typically not too porous in the properties. But you will, obviously, if you're in the mountainous areas, you'll probably have some hardwood floors and various things like this. So just knowing what you're up against and the type of flooring typically will help you gain more knowledge using the wrong product. We always stress in the business to use a neutral product. The neutral product doesn't have as much residue and chemical in it. So definitely during your peak season, that neutral product is going to help you eliminate the residue to get the buildup. And during these busy seasons, you don't have a lot of time. You need to get in and get out as quickly as possible. So choosing that right neutral based product is critical to get you in there. And because on the floors, you're going to have cooking oils floating around from cooking. You're going to have spills. You're going to have maybe suntan oils if you're in a beach area. You might have the salt buildup if you're in the snow areas. So there's going to be different stuff that's going to build up on these floors. And we've got to do our best to try to remove as much as we can. And then deep cleaning is so critical. If you do it yourself, that would be awesome. I could teach you how to generate a lot of revenue on machines that we do. Or if there's a contractor that comes in and deep cleans, but getting your owners, getting your property managers to do these deep cleans are critical because there's so much soil, so much buildup, and we've really got to get in there and strip that out so those floors can be as bare bones as possible. So deep cleaning once, twice a year is critical.
Sean, I got a couple of questions. Number one, how I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but it may be a good opportunity to let folks know. But they're asking, how do we buy the products, right? Do they just connect with you? And I know you have a slide at the end, but maybe it's a good opportunity to explain what your guys do.
We've got a great website. Like I said, we dial in on these products, which we're going to go into a little bit later. So I'm glad you're asking the questions because we're definitely here for you. The website is dropandgocleaningproducts.com. And that's simple DROP, then just the letter N, cleaningproducts.com. And we'll have it at the end too, but there's some great chemistry, great tools. There's some things in there that will really help you. Even if you dive into some of the blogs I've written, there'll be some questions that might be answered for you too. So there's a lot of content I'm putting on there. And I'm currently trying to build out just a basic certification class for entry-level cleaners. And I'm gonna work into inspectors, independent contractors, and keep building that out so you can come in there and educate yourself within an hour of these little tidbits of information to make you a more confident, stronger cleaner. Any other questions on that, Chris? Was good? Okay. We can go on to that next slide. Now, I mentioned the machine. I love this machine because it's simple, it's easy. There's not a lot of moving parts with it, but it helps you. You can do tile and grout with it. You can do hardwood floors. You can clean balconies. You can clean concrete, wood decks. This thing can clean everything. What I love about it, it's just a simple counter rotating brush. So basically the brushes are spinning in opposite directions, but it does get down into the grout and the tile. So you get those deep cleans during the off or slow season. It's phenomenal for carpet because it lifts up the fibers. But if you're in beach areas or anywhere for that point, but it can get down deep into the carpet and the matting and pull up all your sand and dirt and grit that a traditional vacuum cleaner can't. So as we'll see further down, there's these different chambers in the front that actually turn this machine into a vacuum cleaner. I don't recommend using it all the time as a vacuum cleaner, but if you're going in there to do some deep cleans, or maybe somebody threw up or a pet had an accident or whatever it might be, this machine gives you the control to get it done quickly instead of waiting on a contractor. And it's also a low moisture machine. This doesn't have there's no extraction. It's not laying down chemical. All that is going to be done by you. So you can control the moisture, you can control the chemistry on the surface, and then just really do a good agitation. And I think we can go to the next slide, Chris. I had some videos, but I apologize, they didn't come through. But on this machine, as you can see it, there's two chambers, one's in the front, one's in the back. And when you put those on, because you can either have those on or have them off, there's just a little flat compartment that goes on it too. But when you have these chambers in, like I said, the counter rotating brushes are spinning all that dirt, sand, pet hair, just everything that's bedded to that carpet. This is a rug and a property. And it's so simple to use. You can maneuver it with your two hands or your two fingers. It's about 50 pounds, so it doesn't weigh a lot, but it does come with its own carrying rack that has bigger wheels on it, so you can wheel it in and out of properties. You can even bounce it up steps if you want to. This sucker's a tank. I've actually dropped it out of my Tahoe on accident before, and it just got up and kept on going. So it's a little beast. I've had mine for 8 years, and it's still plugging away. I've changed out some gears inside there, but other than that, it's been a godsend, and it's a good machine. Actually, even on our Facebook page, ETI Solutions, you can find us on Facebook. There should be some videos of doing some tile and grout, and you can just see that nasty, yummy floor soup that gets built up on there, and the chemistry is lifting it up to get that floor back to looking like it should. But in on this carpet area, we've got two products, our Chemzyme, which is a good bacteria-based product. It breaks down organic odors, it breaks down pet stains, urine, blood. It just tackles all these things. Garbage disposal odors, somebody leaves shrimp or fish in a refrigerator, that Chemzyme is going to go in there and eat all that up. So it's phenomenal. It's safe, it's neutral. It has a great fragrance. It's I don't know, honeydew melon peach is what we call it, but it's a subtle sweet fragrance. And then the Peroxide, the yellow one, that's just loaded with the good peroxide. Again, another neutral product, safe product, but it is commercial grade. It's got a lot of peroxide in there to help be a color safe bleaching action. It's not going to discolor any of your surfaces with that product, but it helps to brighten the fibers, brighten the carpet, and just makes it look just amazing when you're done with it. So it's always a way to add on some extra revenue if you're interested. And the next slide is going to be a travertine floor that we did. I believe this was down there in the panhandle somewhere. But this is a different type of machine. It does extract. It does lay the chemical down. It's got a little tiny, I think it's like a 2-gallon tank on there. But as this floor here is a natural stone, it's a travertine. And so we used our Cobra Strike. And Cobra Strike is an alkaline-based product, which is safe on these stones when you're doing deep cleans. If you get into that acid, you're going to etch it. So again, understanding that chemistry makes you be a stronger cleaner. But going in there with the Cobra Strike, I wish this video worked because it's amazing. But that surface you can see is pretty dirty. It's dark. And when they clean it with that Cobra Strike, the stone is like 10 shades brighter, cleaner. And that's what is causing the Blackfoot when people's walking with their socks or a baby's crawling across the floor. So these are all critical steps to take during deep clean time.
Hey, Sean, a little off topic, but probably worth mentioning. Do any of these products, are any of these products available anywhere outside of the US at this point?
We have shipped to the Caymans. We have shipped outside the state. So yeah, we would just need to work out logistics and the drop and go products that I'll show a little bit later. The nice thing about the reason you design these products are because a lot of cartridges fit in the palm of your hand that make a lot of products. So the more bang for your buck, less inventory that you have to stock, less space it's going to take up. These are safer choice products, so they make it easy to ship it outside the country, and they're safe. So there's nothing corrosive or bad in them. They can ship easily.
Yeah, and we'll at the end here too on the last slide we'll have a QR code for you, Sean's website, and even he's even providing his email address to you all, so you can just send him an email. And if you're outside of the US, for example, and work with him directly on how you can get to his product.
Awesome. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Now, these slides that are going to be coming up, we're just going over a couple different pain points in the industry. And if anybody out there has another pain point that they've had issues with, please alert Chris with a question. Glass cooktop stoves are always something I hear across the board as well. Burnt on foods, boil over the greases. People are getting in there with pumice stones. They're getting in there with razor blades. We've developed a product called Polishing Cleanser, which has a nice thick pumice. And that'll actually get in there and break down all that carbon built on stuff, burnt on. And it's an amazing product, but it's great for glass cooktop stoves. And it's got typically I would say just get a green scratch pad like you do in your kitchens. And you can just do a little dime-sized dollop of that polishing cleanser and just buff those stains, and it'll come right off. Even if stains have been there for months, years, it'll really buff them off to a good clean surface, and it won't hurt the glass. All right, Chris, we can go to the next one. Shower glass doors, same thing. This is a heavy buildup of mineral, calcium, lime, these type things that are in water, our typical tap water. Some people have harder water in certain areas. I know some of the West Coast, Arizona, some of these different pockets, maybe even in your mountain areas, have really hard water. And that's going to cause a heavy buildup on the shower glass door. Again, with our mineral scale buildup, that would be what type of product? Drum roll. We need an acid. Those acids are what's going to break down that calcium, lime, and rust. You need to have it. You can go in there with the degreaser, and you're just going to bust your butt and just scrubbing and scrubbing. And you might get it because you just agitated it off with your muscles, but having the right product will get you in and out of there quicker. And if it is a heavy buildup, the polishing cleanser is phenomenal for that scenario too. So you can spray a little bit on a magic eraser if you want to, or those things always disintegrate. That's why I'm not a big fan of them. You can do a microfiber towel and put a little bit of the polishing cleanser on to buff that glass to a pristine shine, which makes me think of when I said magic eraser, we actually call the polishing cleanser our magic eraser in a bottle. The magic erasers nowadays, I know they seem cheap, but if you look at the end of the day, the week, the month, how many you go through because they just disintegrate so quickly now, they just fall apart. A little dab of the polishing cleanser will definitely save you a lot of money in the long run. And another key point with the polishing cleanser versus the magic eraser, and hopefully y'all haven't done this, but I'm sure you might have. If you get some crayon or some kind of marker on a wall and you get that magic eraser and you try to get it off the wall, you take the paint off with the magic eraser. We've noticed with testing that we've done with the polishing cleanser and a microfiber cloth that it does not take the paint off. So that's critical. I don't know if I've gone into some beach house properties and you open the door and the sunlight hits it just perfect, and you can just see all these little splotches where somebody's used that magic eraser. And then you got to turn it over to maintenance, and then you got to repaint. So it's, again, understanding your chemistry to get the job done.
I've done that in my own house. I know that.
I did
turn
too,
my walls into a matte finish very quickly.
You don't know. It's crazy. We actually looked under a microscope one time and tested these things in a lab, and they're a little bit acidic. So I don't know if your fingers, hopefully you're using gloves, but if you're not using gloves, which a lot of people don't like to wear gloves in this business, but we can talk about safety and then further down too. But anyways, those things are little micro edges, and they're a little bit acidic in there, what the pH was. So it was interesting to really break one of those things down and see what's going on in there, because you can scratch some of the various surfaces with these things. And again, that natural stone and stuff like that can be damaged sometimes with the magic erasers. So be careful. All right, there we go. Here's our safety. We've got to understand this. Another thing about the whole commercial grade products, utilizing somebody like me or a janitorial supply house, typically you will get that safety data sheet. You walk into Home Depot, Amazon, maybe Amazon does. I don't order from Amazon, but you've got to have that safety data sheet on your chemical. You got to have it in your warehouse where you store the products. Technically, you even need to have it in your vehicle when you're transporting chemicals from the warehouse to your clean, because if something happened, you got in a wreck and the chemicals somehow splattered all over the place on you, the paramedics are going to need to know what the heck that chemical was. So a lot of times it's safe, better safe than sorry, just to have the SDS in your vehicle too, in your trunk, in your car, in your glove box, somewhere which you can just have those on the products. We always talk about don't mix your chemicals. This is critical. You can cause dangerous gas fumes. You can easily hurt yourself, hurt somebody else, but you can also just negate the chemistry and make it a very expensive nothing. So if you start mixing chemicals and you don't know what you're doing, I wouldn't advise that. We do recommend wearing gloves. I know our skin is very porous, so any product we're using, it's going to be absorbed into our body, into our skin. So wearing those gloves is critical. You don't think about it, but if you're cleaners and you're in there 5-6 days a week doing this for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, that's a lot of interaction with some chemistry. So protect yourself. Slip and falls, liquid spills on decks, various surfaces, you need to be careful, because if you spill water, if you're slop mopping or doing something like that, you need to have good shoes on. You need to be careful of what's going on. And then rugs, if you see any rugs that might be frayed up or flipped up a little bit, that could be a tripping hazard. You need to notify the property manager, the owners, and fix those. There is not a fall case. Also, with your safety data sheets, it tells you what's in your product. So you understand a little bit of what to do, maybe if it's spilled, maybe if somebody actually ingests it. Believe it or not, it's happened a couple times with folks I know that have called me and said, hey, I just drank a little bit of the Chemzyme, or I drank a little bit of this. I sprayed it and some of it got in my mouth or my eye. What do you do? The safety data sheet is what helps you flush it out with water and what to do. So you need to just be careful and understand the products that you are using. Also, with the safety data sheet, it tells you safe chemical handling and storage, how to do it. Not typically everything is okay in our environment. You don't want the chemicals ever to freeze. So somewhat of a climate controlled area. I know a lot of people might work out of their house, so storing in their garage or maybe having a storage, but make sure these products don't freeze, because that'll really mess up a cleaning product if they do freeze. Heat doesn't really mess with it too bad unless it's a peroxide type product, because the heat actually helps that product activate a little bit more, so it can be pressurized. So you need to be careful when you're storing your chemicals. Okay, we can slide on to the next one. And there's my girl, the bathtub chemist. This is a worst case scenario. I know this is silly and funny, but there have been cases, and most recently, I want to say there was a Buffalo Wild Wings up in upstate New York, and there was a kid trying to close, and I think he was in there by himself, just mopping the floors, and he was going to be done. He took bleach and then ammonia or a pine sol product and poured it in the bucket together, thinking it would be a better, stronger chemical, maybe smell nice. And that forms a gas, which he was in a cooler mopping, and it totally asphyxiated him. The chemical gets down into your lungs and takes out your oxygen, and basically he suffocated in there. So yes, this is extreme worst case scenario, but it can happen. A lot of times you don't know what's in these chemicals. I hear so much and see so much on these Facebook groups, the TikToks. They're like, hey, you mix some Dawn Dissolve with some rubbing alcohol and an essential oil, and you got a great sanitizer or disinfectant. But you don't know that hasn't been tested through the EPA. When you're mixing chemical, even when you're adding your essential oil or something in there that smells nice, that's an oil which is not going to evaporate, which is going to build up on the surface, and it's going to cause residue. So we just advise to leave the chemistry to the chemist and don't mix your products out there. Please be careful. Any questions?
Yeah, there's no questions on that one, but I think I know, again, like Sean said, it's a kind of a fun way to look at this and an engaging way to look at this, but this is incredibly important. And I think for your teams, for yourself, just make sure you're keeping tabs on any sort of chemical mixing, because this can be really dangerous. So this one
it is, and I see it all the time out there. People are doing the pink stuff whenever it was hot, and they were mixing that with maybe some Dawn Dissolve, and there's just so much going on out there, and nobody really knows what you're mixing. And like I said, a lot of times if you're mixing these different pHs and products, it's going to negate the cleaning ability, and you'll just have an expensive water.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't recommend doing that. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
It's a good soapbox to be on.
We want you to be safe. That's the main thing. Now, going to some of our cleaning products that we designed, I manufactured these perfectly for our industry. The drop and go cleaning products are 3 products. You can get in your property and clean everything with these 3 products. And they're very compact. They're EPA choice, safer chemistry. This is a box of the cartridges. This is how they come. There's 24 in here. I hope the video can show it, but you can see each one of these little cartridges will make you a spray bottle, 1 quart spray bottle. So there's 24 of these here in this box. And basically the simplicity of this system is you take a couple cartridges with you throughout the day. You've got your empty spray bottle and these bottles are designed for the drop and goes because they had to have a wider neck, but these things are strong. They've got amazing sprayers. It's got a good mist that comes out of it. You actually use less chemical with these type of trigger and sprayer, and then the chemistry is dialed in that you don't need a lot of it. So I've had some customers in the Austin market that he hasn't bought spray bottles in almost 12 months. So if these things can be wiped down and cleaned after use or after they get built up, they will last. This is a heavy duty plastic. But anyways, fill your spray bottle up with water. You drop in that cartridge into the neck, and it hangs on that neck right there. But when you put the trigger sprayer back in and you crank down, it will drop the chemical out of the bottom. So then there's no contact with the chemistry. It just crank down on that lid. You'll hear a little click and it dissolve and it will fall down in the bottle. And then you get a nice solution like this one, which the bathroom cleaner is purple. The label is purple. So we're making everything compliant and safe and user friendly, so you know what's in there. Also, this product does have a nice lavender, not fabuloso lavender, but a nice lavender scent. This is probably one of our biggest movers, and it is a little bit acidic. But it's for your tile, your grout, your bathroom shower doors, your sinks, your toilets. You know, this product will help you clean that bathroom very well and leave a nice scent. That's just one of the products. We've got a glass cleaner that is phenomenal. It's safe on computer screens. It's safe on any of the new TVs and things like that. You're not going to hurt surfaces with it. It's good for just a light kitchen spray. You can go in there. The degreaser, same concept. It's got the cartridge system. It's an orange product. It's got a light fragrance. And the beautiful thing about these products that we always get feedback on and testimonials is that they don't smell chemically. You go in there with a good product, you're safe. You're not hurting yourself. You're safe around pets. You're safe on the materials. So these products are just really safe to help you out. But a degreaser, obviously, that is what it is. In your kitchens, your stoves, your things like that, where there might be some heavy duty greases and oils where it's critical. And we are currently working on a disinfectant for the drop and go too. That would complete the product cycle that we need to do everything in a property when we clean. Okay, Chris, I believe we're going into our bulk products. These are just some bulk gallons. This would be either a dispensing system can be utilized, or this is where the dilution might come in play. And the Chemzyme we'd already discussed, that's phenomenal for pet odors, for pet stains. A lot of properties are allowing pets. And I've actually did a podcast recently on pets and pet hair and odors and stains. All these things come into play. You actually make extra money, hopefully more money when you're doing pet cleans, because you can provide a stronger, a better service. And if you're eliminating odors and things like that and stains, and you understand the chemistry and what to do, that's going to put more coin in your pocket. But I can't talk enough about Chemzyme. It's used all over the place. Spargo, again, that's that same safe mold and mildew product that's really great. These next two products, the Cobra Revive, which is a safe acid, it'll brighten the grout like it's just almost like brand new. It's a restorative type product. These two, Cobra Strike and Cobra Revive, are your restorative clean. These are for your deep cleans. But the one solid safety point with the Cobra Revive, it is a safe acid. It's got a pH below 2. It won't burn your skin. It doesn't have harsh fumes. And if anybody's ever got into a grout cleaning or a floor cleaning in a property, and they might have grabbed one of those heavy duty ZEP products that sometimes have hydrochloric or muriatic acid, look on your label. But if they got that hydrochloric acid in there, that acid actually fumes. So you might not see it, but it does gas off just because of the acid. And if it latches onto some stainless steel, some appliances, refrigerator, it's going to pit that, and then it's going to start to rust. So if you've seen that out there, be careful. I wouldn't even use a hydrochloric muriatic acid. There's safer acids out there that can help clean that grout. And then the Cobra Strike is just that really good heavy duty degreasing product for kitchen floors. It helps remove suntan sprays, all that stuff. So typically we use those two products together. We clean it with the Strike and then clean the grout after. And that'll give you a good, like new appearance. And you can charge 50 cents a square foot, 70 cents a square foot. We can help educate you on what to charge in your market and how to get it done properly.
Sean, quick question.
Yeah.
Again, maybe a little tangential, and if you're going to address it later, by all means, but like cleaning after pets, right? Is there like a suggestion of how often we should do it so that these cleaners can suggest that to the hosts they're working with or the property managers they're working with? Is there any products that you would recommend? Just your opinion on pets and cleaning up after pets.
Yeah, pets can be tricky. Hopefully they're well maintained, which most of them are, but you'll have some that might scratch a surface, and that's a whole different ball game. But typically there's going to be a lot of hair. It's going to be floating hair. So you got to look at your countertops. You got to look in your refrigerator. Hell, I've got a chocolate lab here at the house, and I was in there eating breakfast this morning, and I saw a dog hair in the refrigerator. So you gotta clean your surfaces. Your sticky rollers. I love the rubber gripper brooms to work for dog hair and sand in properties. Sweep it real good, wipe everything down, get your sticky roller and do your upholstery, and then come back in after that and vacuum. And then as far as odors and stains, yeah, a good Chemzyme type product would break down those urine odors if there are pet stains. And the other critical thing about the urine. If a pet did pee on a carpet or a hardwood surface, if you do a good light mist with the Kenzyme, that good bacteria actually eats up all their organic stain. So the new dog coming in and the pet doesn't smell a scent and go, hey, it's good for me to go to the bathroom here, so I'll go ahead and do it. Having these right products to eliminate these odors and organics so that these other pets coming into the property don't think it's okay to go in that spot. Again, just understand your chemistry and cleaning and safe chemistry, good chemistry to get rid of those tough areas.
Yeah. And great follow-up question on this one as well, probably more for us on the Turno side, is how should we charge for those types of services? So number one, inside of the Turno technology, we do get pet information as long as their systems are passing that to us. So the vast majority of systems do pass pet information. So you will see if there was a pet that was on that previous stay. You can work with hosts directly on exactly what that looks like. We are working on automating an additional fee on top of it, so that way you don't have to look at it. But if you go in and see, hey, there's a pet on this particular clean, you can request to increase the cost of that project directly with the property manager or the host, and they can accept that. As long as, I would definitely suggest working through that with them, not just whenever you see a pet just adding money without much context. So I would suggest using our chat functionality or working with that customer. But we can see that inside of the system on your projects. We do pass that data through. So that way, okay, great. This had a pet that just left. I'm going to charge a little bit more for that cleaning, and vice versa. We can also see if there's a pet that's checking in, so that maybe there's an opportunity to lay out certain things that hosts want to. Yeah, good questions on pets.
No, that's awesome, Chris, because every market's different. So you got to know where you are and what people are charging to come in at a good competitive rate. But I know what I'm hearing out there from property managers is, as far as their pet fee, they're understanding what maybe boarding cost might be for the animal, and figuring out what the boarding cost would be, the overnight stays and everything else that's tied into it, how many times you walk them for extra money or whatever they do. But if you take an average of what that is, then you want to, as a property manager, you want to come in a little bit cheaper so that people will come in with their pets, and you will make extra money on those cleans and on those rentals. But if you go too high, then people are like, oh, I'll just board my pet. It's easier and cheaper. Understanding the dollar out there of what you can do and get is definitely critical. Understanding your market, because every market's going to be different. City, urban markets versus maybe beach markets. A lot of times properties I've seen where they have little dog runners and places like that, and they'll have the poo bags and just taking care of the property, giving those extra things. Some people like to leave a little snack for their pet because everybody loves their fur baby. So little nice touches to give that guest experience a little bit better is always nice. But yeah, just obviously you got to use more chemical, more cleaning products, more time to get all this hair and odors and stuff up. So yeah, you definitely need to mark it up, but just see what the industry's doing and do some testing internally of what it costs you to do it, and then put on a percentage. So yeah, there's just some numbers we need to look at.
It's a great point too that Sean is talking about, right? Which is that I didn't mention, which is most of these systems are going to have some level of markup for pets, right? They may not be a lot because, as Sean's saying, like they're trying to bring folks in, but most of these hosts will have some sort of markup. So making sure that gets passed on to a percentage of that is being passed on to you is absolutely within reason. And I think most property managers and hosts are very open to doing that. So
they've always hated doing pets for the most part, because you do have a lot of extra cleaning. You got damages. You got a pet that might chew on furniture or something. So many people nowadays, and they want that pet to come. That's part of the family. So they want little Fido, whatever their dog is, or cat. They'll bring them with them. And we've just people, and there's a company out there called Pet Screening, I think, that does something with the service animals. And it has a bank of, lets you know what kind of animals coming into your property, so you're prepared for what you might have to clean or do. So it's definitely evolving, and more people are bringing pets as they travel.
One more quick question. What do you suggest for ceiling fans?
We've got a bunch of new tools that I've been playing with. I actually just started networking with a company, and we've been ceiling fans. You got that little, I don't know what color, it might be blue or black, but there's that little hole that you can put on your pole and do the fan blades. That knocks a lot of it off. But there's this new one I've been playing with that actually can have a flexible microfiber cloth, and it actually bends over the blade and you can pull it off better. So a light mist of a chemical to get that. And believe it or not, the microfiber technology, if it's a little bit damp, it works 100 times better. It actually absorbs more dirt and soil and debris than if it was just dry, believe it or not. When you're cleaning, definitely use a very light, damp microfiber cloth to clean with. But that tool for fan blades is awesome. You got to clean those things because yeah, they accumulate dirt. And you put it into your standard operating procedures once, depending on your market. Maybe it's once every 2 weeks we do a fan blade. Maybe it's just once a month. Maybe it's once a quarter. So every surface and area is a little different. So look at that and get that built into your SOP. Just some niche products that we use and offer. Knock 'em Dead is a safe bed bug product. It's completely safe around pets and humans. It actually leaves a 30-day residue, so it'll do a protective barrier, but it also deters beetles, cockroaches, other pests, but it is safe. And what's nice about this, it's not considered, it's like a 23B is what they call it, which is it's a safe pesticide, but you don't have to have a pest license or exterminating license to use this product. Just some examples of folks that have bought and used this product is they might be in rural areas where it's harder to get a pest company there or somebody that do bed bugs. So they've actually incorporated into their routine cleaning. So once a month, they'll have a technician come in and treat the property with the Knock 'em Dead, which will get rid of spiders, bugs, other things like that. And you can charge for that like a regular pest company would, but it's a safer, better product. The jetted bathtubs, I don't know, sometimes I hear, I think certain markets might have them, but that's just your jacuzzi type tub in your house. Basically, the jetted tub cleaner, all you do is fill up the water to the jets. This is a packet system, so you pour one packet in that tub, turn on the jets, it'll circulate that chemistry and water and everything in there. It's pretty nasty when you do a demo because you'll pull out dead skin cells, maybe some mildew, whatever the heck's built up in those lines, and it puts that all to the center of the tub, and it becomes a nice, gnarly, dark, slushy substance. But the nice thing about the jetted tub cleaners, it doesn't have any bleach. And a lot of people like to maybe throw a dishwashing tablet, I've heard, in there, and there's a lot of bleach in those packets, and that bleach will actually dry rot that PVC, that pipe, and make it crack and break easier. And then odors out there, you got your crazy cooking odors, curry, marijuana is legal now. So that's a tough odor to knock out. Just to depend on what you're up against. You should always have a good odor control product in your arsenal. We can slide to the next one. Cleaning tools. I love just trying to pair the right tools for you, make your life easier. We've got some phenomenal tile and grout products. We've got handheld brushes that are priced right. I always love to have just one universal handle that will do that cobweb tool, that will do the fan blade tool, that will do your grout brush, your rubber gripper broom for the pet hair and sand and stuff like that. So just having just a good core set of tools we like to train and educate on. The electrostatic gun, I'm sure y'all might have seen those during COVID. Those were phenomenal. They would spray out the chemical, a disinfectant, but also these things are great for odor control. You can do an odor eliminator in them. Chemzyme could be used in them to spray down on carpet or upholstery if you're trying to clean upholstery. Again, it does a fine mist, so your chemical goes a lot further and it doesn't really get it soaking wet. So you can do a good cleaning on upholstery and stuff like that. So there's neat ways to make some extra money we can help you with. Next slide. Okay, we're wrapping up. This is who we are. We got there's a Clean Seal team on Facebook page that we're trying to get like-minded people together to ask questions, to help each other out. You've seen all kinds of Facebook pages. This one's similar. We've got the right equipment and tools to help you with your day-to-day cleaning, consulting, educating. I do Zooms with companies to do the art of clean like we're doing here today, to train and educate your staff. There's always a lot of turnover, so we can continue to do that. Like I mentioned I'm on the website, I'm going to try to do a portal where we can do some training and education. But in the busy season, maybe some people quit. You got to hire new people. If there's a system that somebody could jump into for an hour and get a good solid foundation of chemistry and cleaning soils and things like that, I think that could be and you guys tell me, would that be something that you would want to utilize? Would you want to put some new hires through a quick little, online system? I would like to hear your feedback. Safer choice chemistry. I always try to bring safer chemicals to the industry. We love you guys. We want you to be around to use our products, but also to be safe when you're out there cleaning. And then innovative products. The drop and go is innovative. There's nothing out there like it. You got dispensing systems hanging on the walls. You might have some tablet things that dissolve or the packs, but I really like these things. They're completely controlled. They give you that right dilution every time and good, safe chemistry. Next slide, Chris.
Got lots of resounding yeses on the training, and Facebook groups and stuff, by the way.
It's good because you
Feel
need
very
it. It's so hard to standardize, and you're so busy as owners and cleaners. And if you could have a minute or an hour for somebody to go sit down as you're training and introducing them to the team, to have them go into a system and do an hour thing where you can do some emails, some phone calls, or put out some other fires. That's what we're trying to do, is just help the flow of operations go easier. Chris has got the slide down here, the drop and go cleaningproducts.com. There's all kinds of neat things on there. There's educational materials. There's the blogs. There's my email address. It is .co. Don't put .com because it won't come to me. But utilize these things. We're here to help. We're partners. We're teammates. We want to educate you on the chemistry so your team's more efficient. You're more profitable. They're more confident. I just can't stress enough. 20 years in the business. This is what we do. We work with you. We help you. We want you successful, and we both can be successful. And with a phenomenal platform like Turno that gives you opportunities to find folks out there that need good top-notch cleaners. And when you're a top-notch cleaner and you understand this chemistry, you work more efficient, you make more money, people word of mouth, referrals. There's just so much that comes involved with understanding your business and not just going to Home Depot and buying a mop bucket and acting like you're a cleaner. Understand your trade, understand the business you're in. There's resources out there. Vacation Rental Managers Association, VRMA is a good group. There's VR Nation that's out there. I'm the chair of the VRHP board, which is in the VRMA, but it's a Vacation Rental Housekeeping Professionals. So I'm over that. And I don't know if anybody's in the Panhandle market, but there's a foundation conference coming up this Monday, February 23rd and 24th at the Sandestin. There's going to be tons of operation tracks like me, other people that are speaking and educating. There's going to be leadership. There's just going to be a ton of good resources. So if anybody's close to that market, it would be pretty beneficial to get in there to it.
Yeah, I agree. I like I want to echo what Sean is saying, right? Like the fact that you're hearing our voices right now means that you've taken the time, whether it's later on and maybe you're busy today and you're watching a recording of this, or you're actually here today watching this. Like the fact that you've taken an hour out of your day to learn more about this is really beneficial. It makes a big difference in your ability to sell your services, retain customers, right? That's the big aspect that makes folks successful in this business, right? It's not just about checking the box. It's about making sure that there's a high level of quality associated to these projects. And if you're able to do that consistently and you add in great communication, you're gonna have no shortage of customers knocking at your door and you'll be able to grow your businesses. Yeah.
Just understand those operations and your inventory control and your products you're using and your SOPs and everything that just goes into place and like Chris said, by you being here and listening to me jibber jabber for almost an hour, hopefully you got a lot from it. You're going to be a stronger, more confident cleaner that you can pass on to your people that you can use in your day-to-day task.
Yeah, somebody asked me to go back. I think they're wanting me to go back to the dilution slide, which I will absolutely do. In the meantime, if anyone has any other questions, we have a couple of minutes here. Feel free to throw them in the chat and we'll get them over to Sean. But I think that we were looking at probably...
I think you passed it.
Probably this one? Yep. I think that's the one.
Is there a specific question?
Yeah, no, somebody just asked to go to the third slide back. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'll slowly go through some of these that I think may have been the one that they're looking for. But in either case,
dilution, there's 128 ounces in the gallon. So whatever that dilution ratio is, divide that 20 to 1, 40 to 1, divide that number by 128, and that'll give you how much chemical to put in a bottle.
Absolutely. And like I said, if you've attended this, the recording will go out, so you can always go back and pause a slide if you need to. Oh, third slide from the end, I see. Probably either this one or this one. Maybe this one. Awesome. Great. I don't have any other major questions. A lot of thanks and praises, Sean. So thank you so much for being a part of our sort of inaugural Behind the Clean series.
I'm honored.
Yeah. Again, we're going to continue to have these every 4 to 6 weeks throughout 2026 on all sorts of different topics that we've been hearing from the contractor network and the cleaner network. And so I'm very excited to be able to continue to offer these for you completely free. as we go through the rest of the year. So if you have any other suggestions on topics you would like to see or guest speakers you'd like us to bring in, don't be shy. Send them our way. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And yeah, look forward to us setting out some of the follow-up on this. And please go take a look at Sean's stuff. He really is fantastic, and his products are amazing. I've heard nothing but incredible things about what he's been able to do.
Yeah, and find us on LinkedIn. We do a lot of posts on education and training and chemical cost and various things like that. So we're always trying to pump out good education and resources for you. I greatly appreciate everybody that showed up today, and hopefully you got a lot out of it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sean. Have an awesome day. Have a great weekend, everyone.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye.